Welcome to Boo Crew Case Files. I'm your host, Bree Schroeder.
Hello, everybody. This is Charles. I'm back. I know, unfortunately, but I'm back.
Fortunately, you're here, actually. But you're taking this co-host role real serious.
I'm kind of liking this new role. You better watch for your job, Bree. I'm not beyond stabbing you in the back, The Charles Johnson Show. I like that.
It does have a ring. You're right.
Yes.
Maybe that's the next podcast we create.
Excellent.
So, Charles, we are late night. We don't have any beer. We're actually at the Checkerboard Bar in Spokane. Now, the Checkerboard Bar is actually known as having the longest liquor license in Spokane, dating back to 1933.
Right.
And I've collected some information, but you've been here before.
Yeah, over the years, I've heard different accounts of it being haunted. And I think the original building was built in the 1920s, but I'm not positive about that. But the original bar had an indention of where one of the customers sat practically every day, and he would put his cigar on the bar, and it kind of made an indention or where you put it out at. And over time, that made an indent in the bar. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is neat. I did go through some local archives like I normally do in Boo Crew Case Files. Gotta get that newspaper articles and what I can. I did find the building permit from 1928 for a G.A. Wilson. I wasn't able to find any specifics about the owner at that time and what his name was or anything that took place at the point. I did find, though, in 1937, it was purchased by Joe Heaton. Now, Mr. Checkerboard Joe, as he was referred to, he owned the Checkerboard Tavern until 1989, and he worked until his last day, as I understand, bartending.
So I think with that information, it's pretty obvious he loved his job.
I agree.
And I think he's at least a good suspect as far as having his spirit be here.
Yeah, I think that it's likely that Joe may still linger. When we were setting up, we were talking to Andy, the bartender, and she was telling us that she sometimes will see certain items move or wiggle on the shelf. She'll hear banging in the back room a little bit here and there. And as she said, there's no explanation for it. Yeah, so it's really interesting. After Checkerboard Joe sold it, he sold it in 1990. The owners from 1990 until 1994 was John and Leonane Gilden. And then in 1994 until 2010, it was owned by Elsie Clayton. So I do know that, sadly, Joe passed away, John passed away, and Elsie have passed away. So I think that it's possible we could have any of them making their presence known.
So just off the cuff here, I wonder if Joe is buried here in Spokane.
Yeah, I didn't do any research for that, unfortunately. I do know that they did have a gathering here after his funeral in remembrance of him. But, such an amazing guy. There was an article in the paper. You actually have a printout of it. I apologize. It's getting hopping in here. Almost time to close, I think. But we have an article here in the Spokesman Review about Checkerboard Joe and his love for Checkerboard Tavern. He basically is quoted as saying, "I come in when I want to and I leave when I want to." So he didn't really have set hours.
Right.
Yeah. That's the kind of boss that we all need.
Exactly.
Except when he would call and maybe say you're late. You didn't know what time you were supposed to be there because he just showed up. So I think, this is a little bit different. We don't have too much of a story to go off of. I did do some extensive research, and I hate to say, I know that we like to ask each and every time, did you die here? I did not find any newspaper articles that mentioned any deaths. I will say that the press and the media back in the day did report everything to the point where really if your neighbor sneezed, it was in the newspaper. I mean, I'm not kidding.
So just an interesting point, we were doing a preliminary spirit box session, and we heard the name Steve come across.
Yeah, and that was really interesting. So the real stories that I did find surrounding the Checkerboard Tavern or Checkerboard Bar were just a bunch of burglaries in the 60s that took place. To that name that you received, Steve, the interesting fact, in 1960 there was a Stephen Skolaski who was 31 who was arrested for basically burglarizing the place. So I do have the suspect names in case we get anything there. I've got some interesting facts here that we've presented on the table and just in my findings. So hoping we can tie some of this back a little bit and see if we can get anything.
And maybe we can do a little more spirit box session when we can come back and maybe get a little more clarity who we're dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't get major results here within the passport box session that we're about to do, we have been given the open invitation to return when it's not an evening happy hour time. So, Charles, are you ready for this?
I am more than ready.
This is the highlight of our episode. It really is.
Yes.
It's unfortunate, though, that we don't really have much of a story, so we're just going to really wing it.
But maybe we can use that to our advantage. Sometimes details will limit your gathering information, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, so we're just going to go full-blown. We're going to go ahead and open up the passport box. I apologize. I don't know what post-production is going to look like here with all the noise in the background. I am going to try to clean it up as best I can, but I think they've turned the music back on, and the patrons are getting loud. Let's see if we can drown them out with the passport box.
Zach Baggins never has to put up with this crap.
So we're at the Checkerboard Bar. Who's here with us?
Canada is nice.
Can you tell us your name?
So-called human.
You can edit them.
Is Checkerboard Joe? Is Joe here? Did that say welcome?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who just said welcome?
Heart attack.
Joe, are you here with us?
Only about
Hi, Joe.
Joe, are you still here at the Checkerboard Tavern? Couldn't make that out with all the noise. Who keeps messing with the popcorn machine?
Is there a Steve here?
And they're
It'll be interesting to see what that was.
however, country.
Something bad happened here on Sprague. Can you tell me what happened? Are John or Elsie here?
The sex things.
I think it said respect, please.
Pop up a square.
After that, I thought I heard a guy say something, Joe.
Might have. Can you repeat yourself, please? Joe, I'd like to speak with you. Where are you?
In order to
The food.
Joe, are you back in the kitchen?
It's the other.
Does anybody remember the Breakfast Club?
Sort of.
Does anybody remember Lucky or Dave?
Yeah, what's that?
It sounded like it said Joe.
The male.
It sounded almost female, I think. Who's saying Joe's name? This one. Who's behind the bar right now? Go look.
Yeehaw.
I thought I was saying something like too loud. Are there any spirits at the Checkerboard Bar that want to speak with us?
Has Mary stayed?
Something Mary.
Yeah, I heard the Mary.
What about Mary?
Guys, and listen.
Can you tell me what's good at the bar that I can drink?
Is there out there?
Is there out there?
For Matt.
Who's talking with us?
Okay. You what she said?
What she said. What's interesting though about that is that the bartender just asked if I wanted anything. And she mouthed water. Do you want a water also? Or do you want something alcoholic?
Just,
Yeah. I heard.
How did you?
Is there anybody that wants to speak with us? Charles is eager for a paranormal experience.
yes, I am more than ready.
Can you give us a sign of your presence, please?
I want to be on paranormal caught on tape.
Charles is asking for things to be thrown across the room. Can you rip that TV off the wall?
While you're at it, make Bree's head spin around.
You know, the last time you asked if something would haunt me in my dreams, it said I can make that happen. We don't. Haven't slept since.
No comment.
I kind of want to set up the REM pod. So I think we should set up the REM pod. If they're being loud, then we should give them something to be loud about.
Right.
Yeah. So REM pod's turning on. Now, when we used Val's REM pod when we were at St. Ignatius, and I heard it going off, it was coming through the Phasma box. My mind was blown. So I bought a REM pod. Can you touch this red light for us, please? The staff and patrons say that this place is haunted. Can you show us that it is? Touch the red light.
Come on, you can do it.
Do you want me to touch it, for example? Joe, touch it like this. The REM pod then is going off. Can you make it go off for us, Joe? What's the beeping? The REM pod's the temperature's going up. That's what that means. So, interesting though that the temperature would be going up because it's been sitting here. And the temperature's rising.
I wonder how long it
And
takes.
it's not doing anything we're supposed to. But it's weird to me that, so Charles' wife's Kelly's here with us too. We're looking at some other devices. It's weird though, yes, but it's been sitting here, so it should have come to room temperature.
I wonder how long it takes for when you turn it on, how long it takes to
The
get
baseline, I think it's like 20, 30 seconds. But still, I mean,
On the web, and these are
can you change the temperature again, either make it hotter or colder?
able to search.
That's the REM pod.
But no lights are going off, right?
No. Did you hear the laughter?
Yeah.
Okay, baseline.
Those temps have stayed the same.
All right. Oddly enough, though, I had just asked to do that again, and then it started beeping.
I'm going to try the Paranormal Puck 2 and ask if Joe is here.
Yeah, let's try that.
It's okay.
So we're going to let the Phasma box roll while Charles sets up the Paranormal Puck 2. This is a device made by Bill Chappell of Digital Dowsing. And so we're going to go ahead and see if we can get any communication. Charles, you missed it. We just got the word happy. It just said happy.
Okay.
If you're happy, will you please touch the red light, please?
So once I get the Paranormal Puck 2 going, I'm going to ask if Joe is here.
I think it said so ready. It's ready to talk. Okay, so the temperature's going up again now. This is what the REM pod is doing. It is blinking red.
Entrance as well.
So I'm typing,
Use world.
are you here, Joe?
Evidence gap.
For some reason.
It sounded like I said for some reason.
Fall. Fall.
All right.
My passion.
Didn't get away with it.
I thought I heard crime, passion, then the mail said didn't get away with it. Is this bar haunted?
Looking.
Looking.
Apart from
So I typed in, is this bar haunted? That came up with the word name Jan, Jan.
I didn't find a Jan in the research, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't. Is there a Jan here with us?
I'm gonna type, did you die here, Jan? Response is tag, T-A-G.
This might be a good time to turn the Phasma box off for a moment and talk about the dark side here that we haven't gotten into yet. So let's go ahead and do that. So the Phasma box, of course, is turned off, but Charles, I know we talked about this prior to. We'll try the Puck 2 here again because I think that this might be part of it. But one of the things that Sprague, as you know, Spokane is known for, basically not good. So in the late 1990s, Robert Lee Yates terrorized women in East Spokane who would try to earn money. Women would walk the street in Sprague looking for their Johns. They were trying to be careful as women were being picked up and murdered throughout Spokane. The Checkerboard Bar is on that route that Yates would hunt. He was apprehended on April 18th, 2000, and to my knowledge, has been in jail ever since. He was clearly escalating in his murders. What appeared to be a shooting escalated to wrapping victims' heads in 1 to 4 plastic bags and shooting them multiple times. I really think that he's the true definition of a serial killer. This bastard buried one of his victims in his backyard right under his window. So he's just sick. I don't want to give him more airtime than he's already had. I do have a list of his victims from Spokane as well as the manner of deaths. And I think that, you know, it's really important to say that these women were just trying to live. They were not looking for what happened to them. It's important, the tie back here, though, is that an article posted in the Spokesman Review in 2000, shortly after Yates was arrested, quoted the former owner of the Checkerboard Bar, Elsie Clayton, who said, "I'm so glad it's over." Sad, sad situation, and sad lives lost there. Or sad that the lives were lost.
It's a very dark event.
Yeah, I can remember, I worked in radio at the time. I can remember when he was apprehended and just how wild it was in the media and just at the radio station at the time. I worked for a talk show host at the time, and so we would talk on local news events, and that was the talk for the longest time, I think weeks. Getting some people in and getting some people out here. Still got an hour and a half before last call. Is this a place where we can change the clocks? Temperature's rising again. So the REM pod is changing temperature again. It is increasing. I'm going to zero it out. Charles, do you want to go ahead and try on the paranormal puck and see if we get anything?
Yeah.
Maybe asking about any victims. If there's anybody here, can you touch the red light, please? Or the antenna?
Yates, are you here?
No.
So, Dan, the name Dan.
Dan?
D-A-N.
Okay. I didn't come across a Dan, I don't believe. As far as burglary suspects, I've got a Damon. And then the Breakfast Club was Lucky and Dave.
I typed Yates, are you guilty? No response.
Maybe ask, does anyone know Robert Lee Yates? The temperature is rising on the REM pod again. It concerns me that almost every time we bring up Yates, the temperature rises.
I typed in, does anyone know Robert Lee Yates? Answer, sober.
Sober? Well, could that be one of his victims saying that now they're sober? I mean, these women were prostitutes and did have a lot of records with drugs and alcohol abuse. So it's very well possible that that may be a direct response. Maybe ask, what is your name?
What is your name? Response, Else. E-L-S-E.
Okay.
Well, this is kind of interesting. I typed in were you killed?
Yeah.
Response, ashes.
Ashes.
The bodies that they found could have been cremated.
In the end, yeah, I mean, there is that possibility. Some of them were already decomposing, you know, and so I was trying to think if there were any that he had burned. I don't recall, as I'm looking through here.
I think he just buried them. He killed them and buried them.
Or left them. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a really dark part of Spokane. One of many. But let's see if we can get anything on the FASMA box. It's kind of calmed down, so maybe we can hear a little bit better. Sounded like I said trial.
It's magma.
Does anybody remember Robert Lee Yates? I think those were responses. Can you tell us your name, please?
Assertion.
Are any of Yates's victims with us right now?
I don't know.
No. Does anybody remember Shannon Zielinski? What about Heather Hernandez?
Sort of like.
Still processing what I heard. I thought it said I liked her. Did you know Heather?
Has create.
The temperature is going up on the REM pod again. As we would be speaking about a victim of Yates. Did anybody know Jennifer Joseph?
Right,
Oh. Yeah, that
That
laugh.
was the same laugh.
It sounded like it, but it wasn't as clear as the last one. Who's laughing? Are you laughing with the patrons? I don't know if it's my ears playing tricks on me, but I swear I just heard a female whisper yes.
Could have.
But it sounded like it was in my ears. But maybe not through the FASMA box, which is weird. Can you touch the red light on the REM pod? Can you touch the red light and turn it a different color, please?
Searchable. It's controlled with.
As he's read.
Is there anybody that wants to speak with us?
You know.
Thought I heard a voice. I couldn't make out male or female that said I can't when I said, does anybody want to talk to us? Why can't you talk with us?
Memories.
Did you hang out at the Checkerboard Bar? It's pretty quiet, Charles.
It is. I think it's kind of wound down.
Last call for spirits.
Yep. Any messages?
Or are you still.
The flat. Space on.
Is Elsie here? Elsie, one of your former employees was here.
Drug maker.
Drug maker.
That's what I heard.
Did you hear it?
Who's a drug maker? I've never heard that.
That was awesome. I've never heard that either.
Who's the name of the employee that was here? No, never heard that.
Around.
$1.
What's his name?
Quite good.
That's him right there. Have you seen Charles here before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a
What was the name of one of the other guys with him?
It's stuff.
Well, might be time to just turn off the fastfood box. Any final messages before we do that? I think they're tired like we're tired.
Yeah.
First editing.
Can we come back and talk with you?
Mental state.
I want to talk to Joe.
We have.
Well, this is him. He's right here. Joe, what was it like being the bartender?
Keep coming in.
All right, we'll go ahead and turn this off. Thank you. I don't know where that beeping was coming from. It wasn't showing. Were you making it beep? Yeah. I bet you did. That's what it said. I bet you did. Who was doing the beeping? Beeping. You repeated me. Say it again.
Tears of it.
Here's something. But we'll have to definitely
Come back. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, really just a preliminary investigation to see what we could get. Not a ton of responses, but some interesting ones nonetheless.
Oh yeah, I think we got some good stuff for the time we worked with it.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely we'll be back and try to piece together a little bit more of a story, see if we can get Checkerboard Joe to speak with us. And, you know, of course, we can't ignore that dark, looming cloud here on Sprague. So, I guess that'll conclude that.
More to come.
More to come. It's always a work in progress. I mean, you know, we might just scratch the surface a little bit. I've said it to you. I'm going to say it over and over again. Room 210 down in St. Ignatius has me fascinated as hell. All of the responses, all the communication, Richard coming through, that boo, the laugh in Rose's room when we were joking with her. There's more St. Ignatius stories too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like we just started there.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's more to come just with the Spokane stuff too. So lots in store for Blue Crew Case Files. Join us on the next one, Charles.
I'll be glad to be back.
Yeah, right next in the co-host seat. Thank you for being here, my friend. Actually, you set this up, so thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
It's past my bedtime, so we
Me
gotta
too.
get out of here. Yeah, last call for us. We're out.
Good night, world.
Good night.